What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and I would like to welcome you to the regular season. We did it. We made it. The Cowboys are at work preparing for a regular season game against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday afternoon. We have a whole lot of football in our future as I record this. It's Wednesday, September the 4th, 2024 for me, just for full context, because as always, we want you to know when we're recording in case something crazy happens. We do remain on Dak Prescott extension watch. Something could happen, something may happen, something might not happen. You never know, but I promise you that if something does happen, I will have you covered, not just here on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel where you should subscribe, but bloggingtheboys.com and all over my social channels as well. By the way, we are at 22.8 thousand subscribers here on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. We are on the march to 30,000 throughout the course of this regular season. And if you want to follow me on social media, you see where you can do so: Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, rj.ochoa, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com is how you reach me if you want to send me an email. As always, please visit bloggingtheboys.com for the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We are here today, first video of the regular season, if you want to look at it that way, as we get ready for a very big week. Obviously, again, it's week one. We're in the rhymes and rhythms of how things are going to operate around here. And in case you're new, I know we have a lot of people who have come along as the offseason went, despite the fact the Cowboys didn't do a ton. We don't have to relitigate that situation. But today, Wednesday, we're going to be taking a look at the first unofficial depth chart of the regular season for the Dallas Cowboys. Tomorrow, on Thursday, a good friend of mine, colleague of mine here at SB Nation, Jared Mueller, he and I are going to sit down. Jared covers the Cleveland Browns for us at Dogs by Nature, our Cleveland Browns site, of course, at SB Nation. Going to ask him some things, going to get to know the Browns and figure out, who this team is that the Cowboys are going to be facing. Going to do our best to bring you an opposing viewpoint every single week here on the channel. That will drop on Thursday. Friday, of course, the Madden simulations. I know that everybody loves those. That will be coming on Friday afternoon, maybe Friday lunchtime. We'll see exactly when that gets off the ground. Saturday, you'll get Dallas Cowboys and Espanol, a project of mine. I appreciate everybody, certainly, who has encouraged me or offered a different kind of encouragement, we'll say, throughout the course of this process. And once again, if there's any sort of breaking news, I promise you that I'll have you covered everywhere that you see in front of you. But that being said, let's get to the subject at hand. Reactions to the first unofficial depth chart of the regular season for the Cowboys. This is important to say again because there have been unofficial depth charts already this season for the Cowboys, but they were in the preseason. This is the first unofficial, I have to stress, unofficial depth chart of the regular season for the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, of course, releasing this on Tuesday afternoon. Let's take a look. Shout out to ESPN's Todd Archer, who tweeted this out. As you take a look, it is very chalk, and that's important. We'll kind of get to why in a moment here, but it is very chalk as far as projected starters are concerned, if you want to even call them that. If you can't quite see, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit here. Let me get over to this. There we go. I got you. Don't worry. All right, so let's take a look at the offense here. Offensively, let me center it. All right, we look good. All right, so wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, he's back in the fold. Awesome, love to see it. We'll come to the offensive line. Let's just get to the offensive line. Let's go top to bottom. It's a lot easier. Offensive line, left to right. Tyler Guyton, the first round rookie, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, Everything makes sense. Like I said, very chalk. We know that Chuma Edoga, I'm making sure here, I just got an alert from Twitter that it's not any Dak Prescott news. Obviously, we're all waiting to make sure nothing happens. But that being said, offensive line, extraordinarily chalk. Chuma Edoga, not available for the Cowboys. Austin Richards figures to be the primary swing tackle if the Cowboys need to lean upon him. Great for Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe that they obviously work to the point that they are the starters. The Cowboys going to start two rookies along the offensive line. Doing so certainly is a bold endeavor in any season, especially one of great consequence, it would seem, for the Cowboys here in 2024, especially one where the head coach is in a contract year, where the quarterback is, at the time of this recording, in a contract year. Your first game of the season going up against the reigning defensive player of the year. It's bold, but this is the way to go. This is the way forward. We all have endorsed this. So it's great to see that the Cowboys are plunging forward with Cooper Beebe specifically. I think we all knew that Tyler Guyton would be the starter in week one, and we hoped that Cooper Beebe would get to start the majority of the season. But the fact that he's already earned the job and beaten out Brock Hoffman by the season's beginning is a great thing. Jake Ferguson, tight end, again, not chalk. not a shock, not shocking, whatever. If I could speak, I'm frazzled because I keep getting alerts about Twitter and there's no Dak Prescott news, so I'm always on edge just to make sure we don't miss anything. Jalen Tolbert, Brandon Cooks, not a surprise. Again, all of this makes complete and total sense. Dak Prescott, of course, under center. That bottom one, Zeke Elliott, that's the one that I wanted to get to, and I wanted to emphasize how chalk and predictable and logical, really, every starter is here that you see on your screen for the Dallas Cowboys on offense. Because look, let me take the depth chart off the screen. Let me get my mouse over here. So it's on my other monitor. There are people who believe that Rico Dowdle is going to lead the Cowboys in touches and carries this season, and that may very well happen. I would not bet on that. If you're asking for my opinion, my personal prediction, I tweeted this on Tuesday when the depth chart came out, the unofficial depth chart, I remain unconvinced that anyone other than Zeke Elliott is going to lead the Cowboys in carries and lead the Cowboys in, substantially in carries, by the way, in 2024. You can't change my mind on this. Now, I know this is an unofficial depth chart, and I'm not trying to read too much into anything, but Zeke didn't play at all in the preseason. Zeke is listed as the starter, and Zeke is a chosen son of this organization. They love him, and we all love Zeke. The memories are wonderful, and I'm very interested to see what kind of player he is here in 2024. But the line that I've used a lot as I've had conversations with people and done different, shows and podcasts and whatnot over the course of the offseason. 2 years ago, Tony Pollard was among the most explosive running backs in the NFL. Let me see if I can pull this up. He was quite possibly the most explosive running back in the NFL 2 years ago, not named Christian McCaffrey. We all remember 2022, Tony Pollard was amazing. He got hurt, and that was unfortunate. Obviously, blah, blah, blah. That being the case, all right, despite the fact, and I'm looking this up as we go along here, Tony Pollard was incredible in 2022. We all know that. And as amazing as he was, the Cowboys still justified over 200 carries for Zeke Elliott. Still. I mean, that's crazy when you really think about it. Let me put this on your screen here. Let me stop sharing this. Let me pull this up. Moving around. This is how the sausage gets made. This is from NFL Pro, which is super awesome. I've really enjoyed getting to play around with it since it started off. Oops, there we go. Let me move myself. All right. What you're looking at here is this is the 2022 season. I've sorted this by yards after the carry. 60 yards after the carry. Goodness gracious. Here's your glossary. If you really care what this specific stat is, let's find the exact definition. Yards after contact per carry. The average number of yards a ball carrier gains after being contacted. Okay. Tony Pollard in 2022, 4.2. 4.2. I mean, let's just look at the teams. Let's just sort by the Dallas Cowboys. These are Dallas Cowboys running backs in 2022, by the way. I mean, look at this. Let me zoom in here. All right. You are good on your screen. Okay. So this is 2022. Tony Pollard, 16 games played. Zeke Elliott, 15. 193 attempts. Just in 5.2 yards per carry Tony Pollard had in 2022. I promise I'm going somewhere with all this. Zeke Elliott, 3.8. The touchdown disparity is what it is. We've talked about this many different times. Look how productive this is. These are bare minimum statistics, mind you, but look how productive this is from Tony Pollard. I don't know why it's flashing like that. And despite all of this production, the Cowboys still justified 231 carries for Zeke Elliott. Let's keep looking here. Rush yards over expected. In 2000, look at the difference here. Tony Pollard was at plus 226, and Zeke Elliott was at minus 77. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. This is per attempt, that same category. Tony Pollard over a yard. Zeke Elliott in the negatives here. Rush EPA. Tony Pollard plus 2. Zeke Elliott minus 14.6. I mean, the point I'm making here, what point are you making, RJ? Tony Pollard was this phenomenal player, this phenomenal ball carrier, this phenomenal running back for the Cowboys in 2022. And the Cowboys still justified over 200 carries for Zeke Elliott. That was 2 years ago, mind you. Now, obviously, it's been 2 years. It's a new team, new players, et cetera, et cetera. But as I put the depth chart back here, let's see here. There we go. Who is here that is better than 2022 Tony Pollard? That's where I was going with this. If that version of Tony Pollard wasn't enough to convince the Cowboys to give Zeke fewer than 200 carries, 200 touches, who is? All due respect to Rico Dowdle, I do not understand how that's him. Now, maybe Rico Dowdle, obviously, and Dalvin Cook, if it comes down to that, and Malik Davis, if he is on the active roster. No offense to Hunter Lipke. I don't mean to cut him off right there. That's just the way the screen share is working. But maybe they're more involved in September and October. Maybe that's the case. Maybe Zeke Elliott is around to not necessarily be too involved in the early parts of the season. They want to save him for the playoffs and things like that. I just have a very difficult time seeing how the Cowboys brought this player back specifically to not utilize him in the way that they believe he should be utilized. You and I might view that to be differently. We might think that that's a good or a bad or a whatever idea. I cannot imagine that the Cowboys brought Zeke back to then have Rico Dowdle, who they let hit free agency, by the way. Remember, they brought back Rico as well. But this isn't some marquee free agent who they brought in. This isn't some third round draft pick. If the Cowboys had drafted, pick who you want, Marshawn Lloyd, then I would totally buy that. I would totally buy that there was somebody who was going to take the lion's share of opportunities. But there's not that player right now. So I buy that Zeke Elliott is the starting running back for the Cowboys, is going to ultimately lead this team in carries. That's where I'm at least right now. But that's the offense. Let's take a look at the defense. A lot of people obviously, just interested to see Kalen Carson. It goes without saying, in the aftermath of the Deron Bland injury. Again, very chalk. And that's why you can't tell me that the Zeke thing is a ceremonial thing when everything else is as logical as it is. DeMarcus Lawrence, Mozzie Smith, Osa Odigizua, Micah Parsons. Maris Liufau over to Marvion Overshown is very interesting. Ironically, it was Maris Liufau who the Cowboys took with their second, third round pick when they could have taken a running back. And so, maybe Maris Liufau is working out to be an excellent player for them. We will see. Eric Kendricks, Damone Clark, very, very, very chalk. Trayvon Diggs, Jordan Lewis, and then in nickel, Kalen Carson, big time shoes. I mean, I think we're all excited to see him do it, and hopefully he can. Big challenge on Sunday afternoon. Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Rico Dowdle does appear as a backup once again on special teams. We've got Brandon Aubrey, Brian Anger, Trent Sieg, the fantastic specialist who the Cowboys employ. Brian Anger, of course, the holder. Kevontae Turpin listed as the primary returner, but Rico Dowdle listed as the secondary kick returner. That is interesting to me. I do wonder what it would look like if Rico Dowdle got back there for a standard kickoff return. Granted, we don't know a ton about the new reality of everything because everybody's kept things so close to the vest throughout the course of the preseason. But it's interesting that he's the primary backup kick returner, at least according to this unofficial depth chart, not Deuce Vaughn, although Deuce Vaughn is obviously listed there right behind him and is the primary backup punt returner. All told, this is, I think, the title that we had for this was reactions to the first unofficial depth chart of the regular season. My reaction, I should say, is that it's very chalk. It's extraordinarily chalk. And I know I've used that word a million times, but that's why you should believe it. That's why you should believe the Zeke Elliott part of this all. We're past the point of it being a preseason unofficial depth chart, so it is a little bit more serious. It's still not something you should swear by because it is unofficial, but the Cowboys seem prepared to head into the 2024 season with that as their kind of starting group and the team that they have assembled. So whether or not that's successful or not, we will ultimately see. But the best part of it all is that it's finally here. We're finally going to have some answers, right? Like I recognize there are people who are. I know that I've been extremely critical of the team this offseason, and I know that there are people who are just down on them, who don't understand how they can, win, 12 games again, whatever the case may be. And then there's some people who are super homer and think that everything's going to work out wonderfully. I remain, of the opinion that this is a talented team, that this is one of the better teams in the NFL. But a big reason for that is because they're so top heavy, and that top is very talented. Dak Prescott's very talented. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. I think Mike McCarthy's a little bit underrated. So I do think that those, will propel the team farther than, maybe they would have gone otherwise. Maybe not all the way, obviously, as we well know. But, recently, looking at FanDuel Sportsbook odds, over under for the Cowboys is 9.5. I would totally take that. I would still take the over on 10.5. I'd be a little bit more tentative. Anything after that, I'd have to kind of reconsider. But 9.5 wins, I'm absolutely taking the over. This is a team that knows how to be consistent, knows how to win consistently in the regular season, obviously, blah, blah, blah. But, could they have been better? I think so. But we're about to find out exactly how good they are this Sunday afternoon when they visit the Cleveland Browns. As mentioned, coming on Thursday, my conversation with Jared Mueller talking all things Cleveland Browns. On Friday, our Madden simulation. Saturday, the day before the game, Dallas Cowboys and Espanol. No live postgame shows for now, but there will be a post-game episode, same sort of show, just not live, that will be uploaded shortly after the Cowboys game ends. So, looking forward to that. If you want to follow me, my name is RJ Ochoa, all over the place, Twitter, Instagram, Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, rj.ochoa, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com if you want to send me an email. We are looking to get to 30,000 subscribers before the season is over. So tell a friend, subscribe, like the video, turn on the notifications. All those things are wonderful. Thank you so much to everyone. It's football season. It's the best time of the year. I'm so excited to spend every second of it talking about the Cowboys, analyzing the Cowboys, overreacting to the Cowboys, and doing all of it with you because we are friends on the internet, and that means a lot in the year 2024. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you next time.